A long, long time ago in a faraway land, there lived a green loving husband with a beautiful green wife. And he was responsible for some of the most horrifying memes on the internet. Yes, we're talking about Shrek. As messed up as the internet's obsession is with everyone's favorite green ogre, his movies are fun, happy, and endearing, teaching us that you don't need to be perfect to love and to be loved in return, that it's possible for anyone, even an ogre, to live happily ever after.
Take a look at me! What am I?
Really tall?
But like the dark memes the internet has unleashed upon us, fans have come together to create theories about the Shrek films that are also really dark and creepy. I'm Brad with Wicked Binge, and these are creepy theories about Shrek that will keep you up at night. Let's get started.
There's an arrow in your butt!
What?
Shrek was an outcast. In ancient folklore, ogres have been described as cruel, huge, and ugly man-like creatures who feed on normal humans.
Now, ogres, they're much worse. They'll make a suit from your freshly peeled skin. No!
They're said to have disproportionately large heads, too. Physically, Shrek fits into the ogre category quite well. But looking at his behavior and nature, we can't describe him as inhuman or violent at all. Reddit user Gary Stoneman pointed out that it's likely that Shrek might be an outcast from his own ogre community. When in Rome, do as the Romans do, they say. But this did not suit Shrek at all. He doesn't delight in having a brutal lifestyle, killing humans or fighting other creatures. His refusal to participate in any of the ogre activities led him to be exiled. Going away from his community, Shrek tried to live in peace along with humans. Now, how would you behave if an enormous green man tried to talk to you all of a sudden? Of course you'd run home scared to your mommy. Likewise, people around him were too afraid to befriend this big man and live in his vicinity. Unable to make any friends and develop relationships, he got bitter towards living beings. Upset and frustrated with others, he decided to live far away from society, in isolation, in his swamp, until the fairy tale creatures were sent to disturb his solitude. And that's how the legendary movies start out. Fiona wasn't cursed. In the first part of Shrek, Fiona was shown to be human during the day and an ogre during the night, and only true love's kiss can make the change permanent.
Oh my God, you ate the princess! Can you hear me?
Donkey!
Listen!
But in Shrek 2, we come to know that her dad, King Harold, was a frog. He was turned into a human because of fairy godmother's magic and Queen Lillian's love. So the king is nothing but a frog with a human makeover. So that makes his daughter, Fiona, inherit frog characteristics as well as human characteristics. That means she was essentially just a human with partial frog traits, right?
They're my parents!
Hello, they locked you in a tower.
Hey!
Well, Reddit user Come On Now suggested that this was why Fiona had an unusual appearance during the night and she was not cursed at all. Fairy godmother was overly smart and took advantage of the situation to have her son succeed on the throne. Now, according to many European folktales, a fairy's magic is worn off because of sunlight, so Fiona's inherent frog characteristics do not remain hidden during the night. Now, to make permanent changes, she had to have true love's kiss. But since she's a kid and she couldn't possibly fall in love with anyone yet, fairy godmother lays out a twisted plan. She advises Harold to lock up Fiona in a tower so that nobody could know about her condition and she'd remain isolated.
There to await the kiss of the handsome Prince Charming.
Fairy godmother was sure that Fiona would fall in love with the first man she came across. So, she plans that her son, Charming, will go and rescue our damsel in distress.
His kiss would break the dreaded curse,
changing her permanently into human form. Fiona is a cannibal. Fiona has been living in the tower ever since she was a kid, right? And the tower, as you can clearly see, is high enough to keep people from entering it. So that makes Reddit user Freudster question what she eats. So, while speculating and observing the movie, many are compelled to agree with the ghastly conclusion. Fiona eats humans.
This is really good. What is this?
Let's take a look at why this is likely to be true. Fiona lives with a dragon. It protects her and does not let anyone else get near her. So it probably even feeds her. If the dragon feeds her, what kind of food? Well, you can see that when Shrek and Fiona are leaving the tower, there's a big cauldron in a recipe book named Nightly Treats. By the looks of it, many seem to think that the dragon is cooking the knights and eating them. Alright, so maybe the dragon just feeds Fiona the knight's horses? Nope. Earlier in the film, when Shrek and Donkey are about to cross the rope bridge, we can see knight's horses left to die. That means Fiona feeds on the knights too. Another perspective on this conclusion would be that Fiona eats only when she's in ogre form at night. Also, when Shrek rescues Fiona during the daytime, she's asleep. This further supports the hypothesis that she eats during the night and sleeps during the day. That means human Fiona doesn't eat the knights. But the ogre Fiona? Yeah, she's eating them.
All right, I get it.
Would that still be considered as cannibalism? I smell a loophole! Carry on, Fiona. Rumpelstiltskin could have erased another day.
I wish that ogre was never born.
In Shrek Forever After, Rumpelstiltskin is shown to have erased the day Shrek was born. This changed the course of the story in favor of Rumple, and memories of Shrek were also wiped out from everyone's life.
Have a nice day.
But if you think about it carefully, you'd see that Rumple could have deleted another day. That would have caused plenty of problems and altered the story almost just like it happened in the movie.
You signed it.
So, tell me, what happens now?
What day could that be? Any guesses? Alright, so the day I'm talking about is the day when Donkey and Shrek met. Let's analyze what could have happened if that day vanished. Okie dokie. So even if he manages to become friends with Donkey and save Fiona, alone or not, just like it happened in the first movie, the damage still would have been done. Rumple's deal got cancelled at the very last moment when the king and queen got the news of Fiona's rescue. So even a small delay in saving Fiona would have already made Rumple the king of Far, Far Away. Also, there would be problems if only Shrek's memory remained unaltered in the movie, because he was never supposed to be in existence. He becomes an outsider in this timeline. But if Rumple just took away one other day, Shrek's memories could be overwritten. Taking away the day Shrek and Donkey met could have made their friendship go down the drain in no time. Also, since Donkey's a key character to have saved Shrek twice, or more, wiping this mirror relation could have changed the course in Rumple's favor. That means Far, Far Away would be ruled by Rumple, just like how we see in Shrek 4, but with little differences. Now, let's analyze the 4 timelines that could have possibly occurred. Timeline 1. Shrek and Donkey started the trek to the loch the day they met. If they never became friends, naturally, Shrek wouldn't leave his swamp at all. But let's say even if he managed to go to the loch and meet Donkey on the way, there's no guarantee that they would have become pals. Eventually, Shrek would have to face the dragon alone, so there's a pretty good chance that he wouldn't have made it out alive. So in this timeline, it's likely that he fails at rescuing Fiona and dies. This pretty much replicates the scenario we come across in Shrek Forever After. Timeline 2. Now, let's again change the ending a bit. Shrek fights the dragon alone and manages to rescue Fiona.
I'll take care of the dragon.
But they never share true love's kiss. Well, it was Donkey who convinces them to admit their feelings to each other, so the absence of our Cupid might have stopped Shrek and Fiona's union. This would create a future like that of Shrek 4. Fiona would eventually get into ogre resistance and would meet Shrek again. Timeline 3. So now let's assume that Shrek and Fiona did share true love's kiss. Then the story would proceed just like it did in 1. And Rumple succeeded in taking over Far, Far Away, so Shrek 2 and 3 never occur in this timeline. Rumple would still try to take ogres as we see in Shrek 4, but this time Shrek hasn't saved Donkey, but they still managed to become friends. So in this case, Donkey would be a part of resistance right from the start. That means he might not know how to figure out the exit clause. Shrek and Fiona are already in love, so true love's kiss wasn't going to be their savior this time.
I got the chance to fall in love with you all over again.
Timeline 4. Well, now just assume that things happen exactly as they did in Shrek 1, and Rumple smartly just delayed the breaking of the news to Fiona's parents.
Your Highness, the princess, she's been saved!
Huh?
So, Rumple rules over Far, Far Away, and Shrek and Fiona live happily ever after in their swamp. The ogre couple went to Far, Far Away only because the king and queen called them at the beginning of Shrek 2.
You are hereby summoned to the kingdom of Far, Far Away.
So the parents never call, and Shrek 2 and 3 would never happen. This could have been a win-win situation for both, which is a bit scary. This theory just highlights how important true friendship can be. Keep your friends close, kids. But what do you think? Do any of these theories seem legit? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. But most importantly, stay wicked.